Hello, everyone. Byron here from Solveri. Lately, we've been speaking with founders across Berlin and the broader European ecosystem about what they're building, the challenges they're facing, and how products evolve as companies begin to scale. Recently, we sat down with Melina from Harvested for a really interesting conversation around startups, growth, and building in today's environment. So, we wanted to share part of this discussion with you. Hope you all enjoy. Yeah, so why don't we jump right into it? Maybe we could just start with an introduction from yourself and just telling us a bit what you're building and how things have been going recently.
Yes, sure. So I'm Melina. I am the department lead of partnerships at a student NGO called Enactus Berlin. We are supporting social and impact startups. And besides that, on the side, I've been starting my own venture roughly, I would say 5 to 6 months ago. I had the idea, and since then, it just quickly developed, and it's called Harvested Berlin. We are building a P2P platform that connects small gardeners with users, and the users can go directly to the gardener and acquire harvest surpluses or even go and harvest it themselves. And in the end, I also will sell impact packages to corporate companies to also give them the opportunity to participate in sustainability and to fund it a little bit. And yes, so I actually just started this in my first semester of my bachelor's degree, which was in the October of 2025. It's now April 2026. So there was a lot that had been done, and I also have a business background, so I'm studying business at the moment.
Yeah.
So I have zero technical knowledge, and AI really helped me a lot, but I mean, at some point, I realized I will also have to get a CTO, but at the moment, I'm still alone.
So maybe you could talk a little bit more about like what is Harvested? How did you get the idea to start it?
Initially, I just had the goal to become a founder. I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to create some sort of impact and to something that it's like worth fighting for, because being a founder, everybody knows, is quite hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just on a mission to like finding issues in my own life that other people might also face. And I realized that it's very hard to get an access to small gardeners or anyone who grows something themselves and who has something left over, because there is no such platform, even though there are several people telling me all the time that their friends and family have so much left over and they just have to throw it away. And that's just a huge market gap. And I was just wondering why nobody else had done this. So I just decided, like, as a first startup, it's a great idea. And since then, it kind of developed, and also my passion for it developed since I started believing more in me as people believed more in me and the idea. And now it's at this point that I launched my website last week with a waiting list, and within just even one day, I got 41 signups without any marketing. And this week is supposed to be the launch of my MVP, and then the testing will start.
Yeah, I think that that's really like a crucial role, because oftentimes like people who are growing the produce don't have any means or really necessarily like background in marketing their produce or selling their produce. So there's definitely a gap, I think, in the market for that, whatever country you're in. Yeah, what's been the trickiest part so far since you've started?
Oh, I would say the trickiest part was actually building the MVP. So as I told you, I have no technical background whatsoever. And then I just used AI, and people told me, they gave me so many different suggestions, like Lovable, and another person just suggested if I wanted to be like really cheap, just to use Gemini AI for the user interface. And since I have a UI UX background, or like I studied it for roughly 1 year, I just decided to go that route and then to just connect it to Corsair AI. And then actually I'm building in public. I am trying to build in public as much as possible, especially on LinkedIn. And then somebody just texted me, and he was like, well, what does the code look like? Because he was just wondering. He owns an agency. And since the code is public anyway, I just gave him the code, and I was like, just please look over it if you can, give me any suggestions or help. Just like, please do it. and he found 19 security issues within not even an hour,
So
and that
yeah,
was so bad.
what you're bringing up is something that I think Walters and I have seen a lot with companies that use AI initially to build their product. I mean, it's incredible the speed that founders can move at, and even without like a technical background, what can be accomplished in such a short period of time, especially when time and resources are limited. What are your thoughts on that, Walters?
I was keen to say, like, don't be embarrassed by the fact that you got so many, security hits there, because it's not even an issue nowadays with people who lack experience with coding. It's just that these AI tools, they just do this. Like, they have only one. They've been trained to do only one thing, which is do what the user asks. And what the user asks is, get me something that works. And the only thing that the user can verify is if it works. It generates some code, you launch it, it looks fine, that's all you can verify. These tools, they have no concept of getting things secure. Like, you need somebody in the middle who can say, yep, this is secure or not secure. So
That's true. Yeah, the issue is, so with me, I mean, like, the most embarrassing stuff about this is that my passwords and also like my personal details were like stored publicly in the code. It was like written down. So I mean, I should have known that this is like not good, but I just thought it's an MVP. Nobody cares.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of now the challenge, that you're getting to the point where you're taking customer or user data. So I mean, where do you see things getting messy with the product going forward?
Um, Actually, I think right now I'm on a good path since I found someone who is willing to be my virtual CTO.
Mhm.
But I still have to think about if I really want to take him as a virtual CTO or not, since he's demanding 26%,
Mhm.
which I think is a ridiculous price if he's not even a co-founder, but like, just, I mean, I gave him the completed code and he offered to just make it security proof,
Mhm.
and we are discussing if he should become a virtual CTO. But like, also, since he has so many things going on, he wouldn't be able to be there 24/7, and I really want to I want to scale Harvested Berlin on a global level, and I will
Mhm.
have someone on my side who is there day and night with me if something goes down, and things will most likely go down.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, to be expected. So I'm still searching for maybe a possible other co-founder. But for the testing phase, I think I'm approaching it realistically. I mean, at the beginning, I'll cap it at 100 users.
Mhm.
And then only once it's really foolproof, I will start scaling. So I would say it's like maybe the best middle ground way to approach this.
Mhm. Mhm. What are your thoughts, Walter?
So it's a tricky problem, of course. Me being a business owner, I can very much relate to the issue of wanting to balance something's being early stage, probably not tons of revenue coming in yet. So hiring software engineers or hiring CTOs, the question is, of course, yeah, like, how much can you pay in money, in a salary, essentially, and how much you can pay in equity in case in case you cannot afford a high salary for a well-experienced engineer. It's a tricky problem. Well, I want to be optimistic and say, when you start scaling up and when you start getting more and more users, yeah, there'll definitely be situations where something breaks. How do you go about that? Well, at some point, you will need to have some kind of software development cycle, so to say. You'll need to have a cycle of how do we respond to issues, how do we respond to requests. You will want a technical person at that point, because it doesn't matter like if it's vibe coded code or like code that's written purely by a human being. It doesn't really matter. In the end, somebody with technical knowledge has to sign off on it and say like, yes, this is actually safe to ship out there. And you also have to be confident that the person is not BSing you at that point, whoever that engineer might be who signs off on it. Because also there's tons, you being a European citizen, there's GDPR.
That's another point. Maybe you want to delve into that a little bit. It's relatively new to me since I'm relocated here in the last few months. What I've heard from Walters and speaking with other clients is that it's a big concern, especially for companies that are using AI to build their products initially.
So GDPR basically dictates a lot of rights for the consumer. That's basically it. At minimum, the consumer can ask you for data like, hey, can you give me data about myself? So that's a very simple request that might come in. under normal circumstances in the classic development model, you would have at least some software guy to tell them like, hey, can you go into the database and extract that person's data out? How can somebody do that if they have limited technical knowledge, don't have a technical person on staff, and have a bunch of vibe-coded code that they have very little oversight as to, like, you can try asking the AI to extract that data, but how can you trust that the AI did it correctly? Like, it's a very difficult problem at that point. So in the end, it boils down to no matter how you look at it, when you scale, you will need technical people on your team to handle this, and it's tough. Like, it's tough to do this if you like. Hiring an engineer is tough. Engineers are expensive. Hiring some C-suite CTO, for example, can be expensive. Like you said, if they ask for a lot of equity, it's a difficult problem. I can relate very much with this, especially being a young business owner myself and having a smaller team. I also have to constantly ask, like, how much am I going to pay in salaries and equity? It's difficult.
So this issue of GDPR, that's something that's relevant specifically to the European market.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, every single person that I've met has told me I need to make sure that it's GDPR compliant, because otherwise I can really get sued, and this would be so bad. I don't know what I would do. So it's best to just not even try anything that's like not secure and not safe. But like the issue is, I personally do not really understand GDPR compliance in its entirety myself. I mean, some people suggest like getting a lawyer or like some people consultancies, and I mean, at this point you will have to ask yourself, especially as a young founder, I mean, I'm still a student, I mean, what is worth the price and what can you do yourself? And I mean, I have a big vision, so I cannot give away too much equity to too many people just for them to help me out, and then I cannot even control if their work is even good and if they're sincere, or if it's gonna end and come crashing down all on me. So, but yeah, my current strategy is just searching for a co-founder maybe who is already very experienced, so who has already scaled at least a couple of businesses, or maybe who was involved in like one and made it really big, so that I can be certain that they know what they're doing. But it's also quite, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say it's that hard for me to convince someone of me and of the idea, but I'll also have to find a good middle ground where the people would be ready to work with me.
Yeah. I think it's great though that you're getting yourself out there so much at this stage in your build. I saw that you were at Venture Cafe last week. Yeah, how did that go?
Oh, I loved it. So initially, I must admit, I used to be very, very introverted. And just I took the last, I would say, 4 to 5 months just putting myself out there and networking. And I mean, now I'm also the partnerships department lead at a student NGO, so I have to talk to quite many people. But it really, I would say, improved my social skills, and I feel much more comfortable also talking to business people. I mean, I just turned 20 recently, so everyone was, I mean, with 18, I wouldn't have dared to really be open to like just some business people who have maybe already had their successes in life, and there was just little 18-year-old me who had nothing going on for herself. And now I would say I'm quite comfortable with myself, and I also really enjoy the stage now. I can really imagine myself in like 1 or 2 years to be a public speaker occasionally, since I actually really like it. I don't know why, but I enjoy this attention, and also just the ability to have, I mean, I know that I'm gonna inspire some people. I mean, people afterwards texted me that they were inspired or something, and it just felt so good. It just felt amazing.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's like you're building a certain momentum and then getting positive feedback and reinforcement. Yeah, we're happy to hear your story, and we're really in a position now where we want to just share that with other people so people can kind of learn from your experience. You mentioned that Harvested, you have big ambitions or big dreams for the product. So where do you see it going forward?
I mean, I see it going globally. My goal is also to land in Forbes 30 under 30 with Harvested.
Wow.
But also I would do my absolute best to, this sounds so cheeky, but I wanted to be a unicorn. I'm still figuring out how to make this happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now it's not officially founded just yet. So I'm currently setting myself up for the success later on. So I'll really have to make certain that I get the right people on my team that can really get me there. And I mean, obviously, I might also have to drop out of university once it goes very well. But
It's a good
I mean,
problem.
I'm still young. I can do it. I believe that I can. So why shouldn't I go for it?
Any thoughts on your ambitions, Walters?
Like trying to find a team, trying to find some trustworthy people to then build together with is difficult. Actually, I would say, at least my personal feeling is that trust is the absolute biggest, most riskiest resource in all of this. You know, if you hire a CTO, like how much can you trust them? How much can you, first of all, trust that they have the competence? Because they can say a lot of fancy sounding things and it might be false. Then the other form of trust of, are they going to try and, exploit you down the line? Like, trust is a very difficult resource to manage. And yeah, I wish there was some magical formula to, say, hey, this is a trustworthy person or this is not a trustworthy person.
Yes, I must admit, I'm very into business. So I've also heard several podcasts, read several books on this, and obviously I also have founders friends. And the issue that I'm also facing is that most also already huge, successful business owners, they say that the team that gets you to, let's say, the first 100,000, it won't get you to the first 1 million. And it's very hard trying to find some people if I know they're not going to be here forever. And also to manage, like, how much can I even give them and how much do I even want to give them in return?
Yeah. So you're in for a very exciting next couple of months then, launching the website and taking on, customer data. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on like the next couple of months, like what your goals are, or?
So actually, I'm going the lean startup way. So I do not think of writing a business plan already. I move faster than that. I cannot really. I have to adapt to the market quite quickly. And so the goal for next month is to just do the first initial testing with my first test users to really grow the community. So this week I'll also start my social media. I mean, I'm already on LinkedIn, but I wouldn't say that LinkedIn is where my customers are. So I have to go on TikTok and and Instagram and
You're going to be
start.
making your own short form.
Yeah. Yeah, actually just today I filmed some shorts and it was so embarrassing. But nobody else can do it for me. So I just have to go and embarrass myself a little bit. I mean, that's kind of the price you pay for being a founder.
I know the experience. Both Walters and I have experimented with making short form content. The good thing is that the industry that you're in, the products, the agricultural products, it's something that's very sexy, and it's something that really lends itself to visual and video content form. So, no doubt you'll get a lot of engagement, especially when you can start highlighting like the actual products and not only just the platform.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, I'll also in the next month whilst I'm doing the testing, I have to really set my mind on one business model. So I will also have to conduct more interviews with obviously the users, gardeners, and so on. And I'll also have to find the golden ratio, how many gardeners I need and how many users, so that it doesn't come crashing down in the end. Since this is kind of a chicken and an egg situation. If I have too much of one thing, it's going to come crashing down. So yeah, I'll somehow have to figure out the demand situation. And besides that, so actually the gardeners, they do not really sell their stuff since they also are legally bound. They cannot sell their stuff commercially, and that's why I'm also working with the harvest surpluses.
So why can't the gardeners sell their stuff commercially?
They are very against commercialization, and something in the law, I don't know what exactly it is, but something prohibits them from selling it commercially. And I mean, that's like a shame for them. But honestly, the one gardener, or like the gardeners that I spoke to, they mentioned that it's more about their pride in their produce and not about just gaining something. They're not as capitalistic as some business people, for example. And they care more about the food being appreciated and not being wasted. And I mean, sometimes it can happen that a person has maybe 2 or 3 apple trees, and then they have kilos of apples left over, and they're trying to give it away for free to neighbors, acquaintances, but there are not enough people to take on all of this stuff. So they're very open to just giving it away for free. And so my issue now is I'll have to make this app so appealing to them. So I have to give them so much as a return that it's worth for them to open up their gates to strangers, essentially, and to give away their harvest surpluses instead of just throwing them away.
So for the gardeners, the business model is not that they are selling their produce, but it's just a way for them to cut down on organic food waste and food loss on their end.
So I can explain it a little bit better again. So small gardeners, they can share their harvest surpluses, and they will also get free access to the entire app. So if they want something from a neighbor or from some other gardener, they can acquire it for free for life. And besides that, they can also choose between self-harvesting and self-pickup, which means if it's, let's say, an elderly grandpa who doesn't have the strength anymore to climb up a apple tree or whatever, or maybe to do all of this manual labor to get some berries, he can just, upload it and say it's for self-harvesting. And then he just has to be there to have the user come to him and then just pick it up themselves. The thing is, so I also have to find a golden ratio between too much community and like right amount of community, because I want to scale this well. So I cannot always be here and represent them and talk to all of the users in person. And that's what the testing phase is for. But after that is figured out, after I have the 100 test users, I will open up 500 more spots. And then from there on, I will just slowly scale, and then see how fast I can go.
It sounds like a very interesting problem. So that means like you cannot do the typical startup model of just, make some app and then just push it. That's a very difficult problem to solve.
Yeah, I think it's true what you're saying. There's and I think it's also particularly unique to the industry that you're in, with like a physical product combined with a digital platform to help move that physical product. Not only is it a physical product, but it's a physical product with a very short shelf life. And so that brings in like a whole host of other complications in terms of like logistics and.
Oh, actually, so like the good thing about my model is I don't have to worry about logistics, since the user just goes directly to the gardener.
Pick up the product.
Yes, exactly. But I want to work with a pilot garden colony so that I'll just have a local pickup hub. And then from there on, I'll just see how it goes. And then at some point, I'll also be able to work with. So sometimes when you have fields, you have some trees, like, for example, fruit trees standing there. And then all of these fruits fall down and rot away, even though they are very, very good and also very healthy because they're ripe. And in the supermarket, you do not tend to. I mean, the food isn't ripe completely. So you could also just pick up all of this waste in the end and just offer it at local pickup hubs if it's still good. So I'll have to figure this out, but this will come at a later point. Otherwise, I would be diluting myself too much. And I first have to find one niche and then make it work, and then find the next niche. And
I think it's also like a community that's just waiting to happen, because the people that engage with this product or with your app, it's like they have a shared passion or a shared vision about food and sustainability, and how they want to build their lifestyle. So I think it kind of lends itself to contributing to community building going forward.
Exactly. Yeah, I will just have to see. I mean, as I already mentioned, I have to build a community and I have to make sure that it works well. And also for my first 100 users, I will make it free for life for them.
I see.
Because if I already see it coming at some point, I will have some PR issues. Someone will hate on me, and I will definitely get some shitstorm, and I need people to defend me. So I think like the first 100 users need to be so loyal to me.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like
that's
they will
cool.
most likely be, because they trust me. And I mean, I want to build this with them. I know that
Mm,
I mean, when they're doing well, I will be doing well.
mm, mm, mm.
So I have to make sure that they are happy first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's great. It's been really interesting hearing about your business and perspective and what you're looking to do in the future. Yeah, we want to kind of get the word out about your product and about your business. And yeah, it's fascinating for us to hear perspective about particularly your experience using AI to build your product. And now, what are the next steps when you're getting to um, the positive momentum and the success that you're having at this stage?
Yeah, actually, the great thing is, so since I launched, I mean, I obviously told my family and friends to
Mhm.
just share the landing page in their status. And my sister actually told me that like two gardeners from other parts of Germany already said that they're so excited for once I'm expanding, because they have a garden themselves and they have so much harvest surpluses all the time. And it's just so great hearing that this is not just great for the user, but also for the gardener, since they are also very excited to just have such a platform. And it just makes me so happy that it's being perceived so well.